Breaking the cycle to step forward. Authentic conversations from lived experience and a professional perspective in overcoming abuse with Chris Tuck and Beverley Ann.
Welcome to Breaking the Cycle to Step Forward podcast. I'm Beverley Ann and I'm joined by the lovely...
Hi everyone, Chris Tuck here.
And we're also welcoming him back, a guest who was on our podcast not long ago, and that's the award-winning Fatima Whitbread. Fatima.
Welcome
We're becoming
back.
good friends now, aren't we?
I know, it's fantastic. We love this. But you've come back, or you offered to do this after a fantastic award that you won only last night. And for those who are not aware, that's on BBC Sports Personality of the Year. But you won the Helen Rollason Award.
Yeah, Rollason Award. Yeah, but it was an absolute privilege, to be able to have accepted an award from such a dear person, a friend as well. In her memory, because Helen was a BBC sports presenter. And at the same time I was competing, I think I was slightly ahead of her in terms of success. And then she asked me, would I be her first international sports person to be interviewed? And I said, of course. And after that, she never, her career just took off.
Yeah,
she was a remarkable presenter. And for me to actually be able to have stood up on the stage yesterday in my capacity as somebody who had lived experience supporting the care system sector, our young vulnerable children and our young people in the care system. It was just a wonderful experience to be able to have shared that platform, and knowing that Helen would have been extremely proud about that.
Oh, that's so lovely, because she was the first female presenter on Grandstand, wasn't she?
Yes,
and for those of us of a certain age, remember Grandstand in the afternoons on Saturday.
Well, that was the main programme, wasn't it, for all sport?
It was. And so you won that award. Sadly, Helen Rollason passed away in 1999.
Yes.
But you received the Sports Personality Award yourself in 1987.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody's ever gone back and won another award in the BBC awards, Personality Awards. And I mean, that's quite an achievement in itself. But it gave me the opportunity to use that platform, which was wonderful, to be able to get that message out there for our young children. So important. We keep that ball rolling, because it's gravitating, and hopefully, it'll grow bigger and bigger, with the awareness and a wider audience. And through my campaign, Fatima's UK campaign, I'm actually doing very well. I'm making big strides ahead, bringing partnerships together in collaboration with schools, clubs, local, like Metropolitan Police, in local communities and boroughs where our young children live in care homes or residentials and care homes, foster care homes. And, it's really important to recognise their need to have some people that will help them, give them a chance to not just survive but to thrive, and working in programs which will ultimately, hopefully, give them the opportunity of also skilling up and coming out with a job at the end of it. So the power of sport and the power of arts are the programs that Fatima's UK campaign are doing, and it's it's rolling out from borough to borough. And it take a while, but it's already working very well with some of the London boroughs, and working with the safeguard team with West Ham, which cover most of the London boroughs, and also the England Football League, 72 clubs with all the boroughs around it. So it's going to be a major project. I've already spoken to Sir Mark Rowley, who's the commissioner for the Metropolitan Police, who's put me in touch with his second in command, Colin Wingrove, who in turn has made sure that I'm in contact with officers and commanders in the boroughs, and which will be involved with these projects, and hopefully our young people will be able to be looked after and cared for, work in programs where they can feel a sense of belonging and a sense of achievement, and learn life skills, and hopefully get qualifications to come out with a job at the end of it.
And that's what's so inspiring about you, Fatima, because you haven't stopped anyway. Your passion truly comes through. And that's what your award was about last night. So if we can go back to last night, because I know, I haven't asked you, Chris, but as a care leaver myself, you're a survivor of sexual violence as well as as a teenager. So you are one of the few people who, when I look on TV, it's like I connect with, as in there's somebody on the TV who's openly sharing her story, which is fantastic. Yeah. And I know that Fatima was an inspiration to you, Chris, as well, when you were growing up, wasn't she, as we mentioned before?
Yeah, we mentioned that before, didn't we? But for me, Fatima, listening to what you were saying last night, because we know what it feels like to be a survivor of abuse, we know about the impact. It really got to us. But I felt that the audience were not tuned into what you were actually saying. So there's a lot more work there needs to be done. I understand that the snowball has got bigger, and you've just shared fantastically how it has taken on a life form of its own. But those people in the audience, some of them I felt were like tuning out, when they were like spotlighting on different people, you can see the glaze coming over their eyes. And I'm just thinking, there's a lot more work there that needs to be. They need to understand the true impact and why this is so important. So even though you got across what you did, there's a lot of people in society that don't actually get it, that don't actually understand how it can take over your life, the impact of the trauma, and how important sport is to counteract some of the damage that's caused.
Well, I think this is one of the reasons why I've worked so hard over the last year, and why I always have constantly been saying about rejuvenating the care system sector, because and educating people to the awareness of what's happening within our care system sector. It's been a dying sector for a long time. The government has not supported it, and like I said, within the 50 years that since I was in the care system, not a lot has changed. In which case, it stands to reason that people don't fully understand it, because we're becoming visible to a lot of people, these children, and they shouldn't have been, because let's face it, as I said all along, children are our future, and it's important that we invest in them, and they become, of what and who they become will define what society becomes in the end. 100%. So we've all got a moral and ethical responsibility to make sure we work together to make sure these young people have better outcomes, and we can change and implement change which help them moving forward. I didn't see the glaze overs on people's eyes. I delivered what I felt was the right thing to say in order to educate, and that's the most important thing. My platform was being used the best that it could possibly be used with BBC on a live TV, so that it can't get any better than that. So I think we've made a pretty good dent, to be honest, Chris, and we can't expect miracles overnight, because for how many years has this been in the doldrums? And when you think 100%. About it, and so when you think about it, in this past year, with somebody like myself who's come to the forefront and worked exceptionally hard in partnerships with people like yourselves who have also been in the care system, in order to get that message out there and bring change. It will take time. I think we've done a pretty good job in the last year, and it can only get better as the following year is approaching.
And the power of your speech certainly came through in our sitting room last night, because I was sitting on the settee. There was my husband on the end of the settee. I don't know who was watching it with you, Chris, and I was watching, obviously, on Tender Hooks for you, and I was sitting there, and I was like, wow, and I had it brought tears to my eyes, because the power of your vulnerability and your honesty. And then I looked at my husband at the end, and he just went, Wow, that was fantastic. It was powerful. It came from the heart. But how was it for you? As you said, you know, you've been there before, but how was it before, like for you coming on to accept the award?
Well, for me, it was wonderful to be amongst old friends that I, over the years, have known and competed with, and also, you know, past and present. So it was really an enjoyable evening, a great experience. BBC, I think, did an excellent job in presenting the programme, as they always do. I understood there was a lot more younger people now that are working on the BBC side of the technical side, and putting together the programme like that is not easy. I think they did a marvellous job. So yeah, they're to be commended for that, really. But I haven't actually sat down and watched the programme. I mean, it's two different experiences. One, waiting to go on stage when you know you've got to deliver an important speech like that, because
100%.
you know that is a big responsibility. You know, it's something that I've taken on and I accept. You know, and so it was important for me to be able to keep calm and be able to hit those notes. And I think, you know, I did a pretty good job, and I'm quite pleased. You know, and the BBC were very kind. They allowed me quite a bit of time on the stage. And yeah, I think we ticked a lot of boxes in terms of getting the message out there, creating that awareness. Also, to be able to proudly present our young people that were, you know, I asked BBC to allow into the studio.
To stand up, didn't you?
To stand up, yeah. And I think there's a lot of successful win-win situations in last night, you know, in building and collaborating with people as well that understood the importance of what we're trying to do for our children in the care system sector. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to take time. It's a massive challenge, and one of which I'm probably best suited to because I love a challenge. So yeah, I'm prepared to give it time. It won't happen overnight, but I think in answer to what you said, Chris, people will come around and they will realise, you know, more and more. I'm on a James O'Brien show tomorrow on his podcast, and that's got a massive following. And James was a past experience as well, care. So a lot of people are starting to come out and speak out, and I think this is the most important thing. We're establishing those that have been in the care system that are coming out and speaking out as well, and they're in prominent positions. So that really shows our young people that they can succeed, and there's no reason for them to feel ashamed, or for, you know, to hold your head up high. You know,
absolutely.
And you can, if you give those children an opportunity to succeed, you know, and be there for them, and show them the way. You know, give them a bit of hope. There's no reason why they can't thrive and do really well for themselves and reach their full potential.
100%.
So what would you like to say after last night to your 14, 15-year-old self, Fatima?
Oh, well done. I would say to myself, if my 14 or 15-year-old Fatima was to talk to me now, or vice versa, well, let's do the first one first. As a 14 and 15-year-old, I never believed I would have been able to have delivered a speech like that on stage. It would have frightened the life out of me just thinking about it. But to look back and talk to that 14, 15-year-old, somebody who, you know, through the love of the Whitbread family, I mean, I still had a long way to go. I mean, it's for all children, all families. For both the Whitbread family and myself, it took, you know, an extraordinary amount of effort and hard work to make the bonding and make, you know, the relationship work. It's no different to any other relationship. And you know, in doing that, Mum and I both, as mum and daughter and as coach and athlete, succeeded, you know, with our sport prowess. And yeah, I mean, to have gone on that stage in 1987 and picked up the award, the main award, as a sports person, and then to have gone back how many years later? You know, we're in 2023, and it's an amazing feeling to go back on the
36.
You know, yeah, it's a long time, isn't it? How many? I mean, where's those years gone to?
Wow, yeah. 36 years, yeah.
Yeah, 36 years.
And I remember watching you getting the original.
Yeah, there you go. And, you know, and I hope that it's not going to take that much time in order to get our children acknowledged and recognised for the remarkable resilience that they have to show when living in their care system sector. They have huge challenges across the UK today, and it's important that through Fatima's UK campaign, that thankfully we seem to be able to be getting some change made, bringing about change for these young people. That's what it's all about. And if you're listening and anybody wants to help me, please go on fatimascampaign.com and give generously and help. Let us make a difference for these young children's lives. Let's help, future generations beyond ours as well, because that's really what it's about. Not just the here and now, but also the future generations.
And we will share the link underneath as well, and also your QR code to the Just Giving campaign. Yeah. So for those people that like a QR code, that will be covered as well. So Chris, any last questions or thoughts for Fatima before we finish up today?
Well, let me tell you, Chris, I've got 2 trophies now, one from 87 out here in the kitchen area, and one of my sons just put the new one in the lounge. I don't know how long it will stay there. It's the memories that count and the journey that's the most important. I thought
you was going to show us, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't walk you into the lounge and show you my trophy. It's sitting pride of place at the moment.
Pride of place.
Yeah, but listen, Chris, it's all about the journey. It's all about sharing the love and bringing about change, and that's the biggest journey of all. And BBC and through Helen Rollason gave us the opportunity to do that last night, and I'm immensely grateful for them, and I feel very proud and honoured to have been able to accept that award on behalf of the care system sector and all those wonderful people that we know work out there, like ourselves, trying to, year in, year out, supporting these young children, like ourselves when we were young, and helping them. And so it's our turn to give back too. So in our own ways, we're doing the best we can. And I think it was just a wonderful platform last night to be able to have elevated that and given that a wider awareness to the public too.
Yeah, I mean, it is a massive springboard for that societal awareness, which we've been trying to do for the last 10 years, and it's exhausting. So when you can see it pick up a bit of traction and actually something's actually happening, I mean, it's amazing to see and watch and be part of, to be honest, because as I said, you have to feel it in your body, don't you, Fatima? Like you literally hold on.
You have to also appreciate, Chris, that it takes time to process stuff. People take time to process. I mean, it is a very festive time of the year as well, and lots of people, again, they're all working hard to support their charities, and they've all, done amazing things over the years to support their cause. And this is no different. We're all trying to, what's slightly different about this one is that, as I've said, it's about children, and children are our future, and that's the most important thing. And in order to be able to give a child, the most important thing in which you could give a child is the love and security 100%. Of a good, secure home. And so, that's important as well, to bring about that awareness. The shortage of foster carers that we have is currently at around 11,000. The 105,000 kids in the care system. We've got 33% of councils are seeing a weekly increase of children coming into the care system. There's 4.2 million families are suffering on the poverty line at the moment as we speak. 800,000 families on their food banks. We're the 5th biggest economy in the world, and I find it amazing that we should be facing this. That in 2026, it's been said that we'll be short of 26,000 foster carers for our children. So that's a bit frightening. So this is why it's so important we get this message out there.
Yeah.
Come on, let's work together collaboratively and let's make a difference to making change for our care system sector and our young people and young children.
Absolutely.
100%.
And for anyone listening, I'm also going to add the link, or we are going to add the link of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. So anyone watching can watch that as well, and we'll direct them to your speech. so
that'd be great,
they can see that.
Because
and it's so powerful, Fatima. Well, for myself, I just can't, I know how I'm feeling watching you and supporting you and rooting for you. And thank you so much for coming on here today.
Lovely.
And I can't say, as a care leaver, as a survivor of sexual violence as well, you are an inspiration, and you are working so hard and to share that message. And we're so thankful that, you've been able to use that platform in the way that you are, but also taking the time to come on today, because we know how busy you are.
No, but we're all working in it together, and we all want to achieve the same thing. So really, at the end of the day, we owe it to each other to support one another, and that's really what collaboration's about. And then in numbers, we will make a big difference in it. And obviously, I'd like to think that more people will come aboard, the care experience people that have made good, to prove to our young children that they can make good too. So thank you for giving me the platform, Beverley. And someone's ringing on my front doorbell. It's impatient. It's impatient as usual. And life goes on, doesn't it? Listen, wishing you a happy Christmas and everybody, and more power to our elbow for next year and pushing forward.
And here's to 2024 and the summit that you're putting together as well.
That's Fatima. The big thing. The summit's really important. And I have already got a key date in the diary with Rachel D'Souza's office, in collaboration with Action for Children and myself and a few other key players, to talk and strategize about the summit. So that key date's already in the diary. So that's good.
Fantastic.
If we can help you with that, Fatima, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to.
Lovely. Thank you very much. I'll keep you posted, girls.
Happy Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy Christmas
Bye
to you.
for now.
Bye,
Lots
Fatima.
of love, girls. Lots of love.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Beverley. Bye, Chris.
Bye.